Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to a new class. Today I'm going to be talking about irregular verbs. Irregular verbs may sound a little bit difficult or overwhelming at the beginning, but once you get familiar with them, it's going to be easy. So, have you ever heard about irregular verbs before? If you haven't, don't worry. Today you're going to learn a lot about irregular verbs, okay? What are they? An irregular verb is just another type of verbs, but they are very special. They are the rebels of the verb types because they follow their own rules. It means that irregular verbs don't follow the ed ending rule like regular verbs do. Irregular verbs have a specific word for their conjugation so that we don't need to add the ed ending. Remember when we studied the regular verb conjugation, we learned that to form the past tense of the verb, we need to add ed at the end of the word, and this way we form the past tense of the verb. But it doesn't work for irregular verbs because they have a specific word for every conjugation. So we need to learn more about that, okay? Here we have some examples of irregular verbs. In this chart, we have the base form of the verb, the past simple tense, and the participle, okay? We have a very short list here because there are a lot more verbs. So we have some of the most common used here. For example, we have the verb build, and the past simple tense of build is built, and the participle built again, okay? Now, let's take a look to the verb choose. We have the base form choose, the past tense chose, and the participle chosen. Now we have, let's see, forget. Forget is the base form, and the past simple form is forgot, and then we have the participle forgotten. Okay, today I'm not gonna be talking about the difference between past simple tense and present simple tense and participle. I'm going to be talking about the difference between each one of these tenses because I've talked about that in previous lessons. Today, I just want you to recognize this type of verbs and to identify their different forms. But if you have any doubts about the difference between every single tense, you can let me know and we can go back to that lessons later. But today we're gonna focus on the conjugation of the irregular verbs, okay? So let's take one more example. The verb eat, the base form eat, the past simple form ate, and the participle eaten. Now, it should be noticed that these are very common verbs, so you can practice them very often in your daily conversation, and you can practice them. So it's gonna be easy for you to memorize them, okay? Okay, each irregular verb is conjugated differently. Therefore, to use them properly, we have to memorize each one of their forms. When I say memorize them, I don't mean to be repeating and repeating them all day long. I mean, you can practice with different techniques Like, for example, reading and writing the verbs, or you can play some fun online games about verbs, and you can find different ways to memorize these verbs, okay? It doesn't have to be boring or exhausting at all, okay? Now, if you think that irregular verbs are odd, let me tell you that there are some more particularities about them. For example, with the verb read. Here we have the verb read. The base form is read, and then we have the past simple form that looks the same, right? And then we have the participle that also looks the same, but they don't sound the same. They look the same, they spell the same, but they don't sound the same. The base form sounds read, the past simple form sounds read, and the participle also sounds read. Now I have 3 sentences here. And the first one, using the base form of the verb, it says, I want to read this book today. I want to read this book today. Okay, I'm using the base form of the verb here, or the present simple. Now, I'm gonna use the past simple tense. Yesterday, I read this book. You wanna repeat with me? Yesterday, I read this book. I'm using the past simple tense. Even though it looks the same, it doesn't sound the same, right? Now, we're gonna use the participle, and it says, he has never read this book. He has never read this book. Okay, repeat with me. He has never read this book. He has never read this book. Maybe he doesn't like reading. So he has never read this book. Okay, so in this example, we can see a verb that is written the same way, but it doesn't sound the same way. Okay, now let's move on the next sample. Some irregular verbs spell and pronounce the same way. Okay, they spell and pronounce the same way. For example, the word shot. The verb shot, in its base form is shot, and the past simple tense is shot, and the participle is also shot. So in this case, we see a verb written the same way, and that sounds the same way too. So the first sentence, using the base form of the verb, says, I always shut the door. I always shut the door. I hope you always shut the door too. Okay? Repeat with me. I always shut the door. For example, I always shut the door when I leave home. Now we have another example using the past simple form. Yesterday, I shut the door. Yesterday, I shut the door. You can notice that I'm using the same word, spelled the same and sounds the same, but it doesn't mean the same, because now I'm talking about something that passed yesterday. Okay, so yesterday I shut the door. Now, the third sentence says, She has already shut the door. She has already shut the door. She has already shut the door. Okay, I'm using the participle, but it sounds the same as the past simple and as the base form of the verb. So we have to learn all about these particularities of the irregular verbs, okay? Now that we have all this information, let's do some practice. Okay, I wanna share with you some exercises that I have here. Okay, complete the sentence. Write the correct past form of the verb. Okay, write the correct past form of the verb. Here we have some sentences and we have a space here. I already filled some of them. Okay, let's practice. Here we have the verb, the base form of the verb, or the present simple of the verb. So what you have to do is you're gonna go to Google and you're gonna look for the past form of this verb, okay? So go to Google and we're gonna find the past tense of the verb know. Okay, here we have it. Know, past tense is knew. You see? So I'm gonna write it down here. Knew. Now let's read the complete sentence. Mr. Fox knew a lot of jokes when he was younger. Mr. Fox knew a lot of jokes when he was younger. Maybe he doesn't know any joke now, but when he was younger, he knew a lot of jokes, okay? Now, the next one. We have the base form of the verb give. So let's go to Google again and let's find the past tense of the verb give. Past tense of give is gave, okay? Gave. So gave. My friends gave me a nice present for my birthday. My friends gave me a nice present for my birthday. Okay, let's move to the next one. Now we need to find the past form of the verb buy. Buy? Yes, buy. Past tense of the verb buy. Remember, you have to memorize these conjugations. You have to memorize them because they don't follow any rule. So the only way to learn them is memorizing them, okay? So here we have it. Bought is the past tense and participle of the verb to buy. But in this case, we only need the past tense, which is bought, okay? So we're gonna write it down here, bought. Bought, okay? They bought me a new bike. They bought me a new bike. Can you repeat with me? They bought me a new bike. Perfect. You're doing great, guys. Now, let's do one more sentence. Here we have the verb speak. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, guys, for you to find the correct answer for this, okay? So go to Google and find the past tense of the verb speak. Past tense of the verb speak. 3 seconds and get the answer. Who has the answer? Very good. Spoke. We always spoke English in the summer camp in Spain. We always spoke English in the summer camp in Spain. Very good. You're doing great. Very good. So we have more sentences here, but we're going to stop here because I want you to work in this at home later. And we're going to check the answers tomorrow, okay? So do this by yourself and we're going to check your answers tomorrow because I want you to explain one more exercise. Okay, choose the correct answer. Choose the correct answer. This is a little bit similar, but here you have 3 options to choose the correct answer. You have the verb begin here, and you have to find the past tense of this verb. You can go to Google again and find the answer. Okay, you have to choose one of these answers. Okay, just one. Okay. Remember that we don't add ed to irregular verbs. We don't add ed to irregular verbs, so you can just discard this. Okay, began. Very good. Very good. He began to sing when he was 9 years old. He began to sing when he was 9 years old. Perfect. Just let me see. I'm not sure about this. Yes, we're right. Okay, guys. Now, let's find the past form of the verb break. Okay. Past tense or past form of the verb break. Broke. Very good. My little brother broke his new glasses when he fell off his bike. My little brother broke his new glasses when he fell off his bike. Very good. Okay, guys. we're gonna stop here because we are running out of time, but you can finish all the sentences at home, and we're gonna check them tomorrow to see if she shows the correct answers, okay? If you have any doubts about irregular verbs, just send me a message and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this class and see you tomorrow.